What's up everybody, this is Blazing Ace Nelson back again with another Sengoku Basara Utage Spotlight. And as I'm sure you can probably hear just from the quality of my voice on the commentary, I got a new USB mic for the laptop, so now I can really get this stuff going. But anyway, I want to apologize to my subs and everybody who's been watching me. It's been a couple days since the last video, mainly because I've had a few issues I needed to work out with the Elgato. But also, this is the first time I've come up for air since I started playing Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage 2. A review on that coming shortly. But in the meantime, I wanted to do exactly as promised and get this Kojiro walkthrough finished up. So, yeah, for those of you that have been following, for those of you that have been following Sengoku Basara 3 in Utage, certain characters that were playable in the series have actually made a comeback as playables for Utage. One of them being, of course, Masamune's right-hand man. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and just set this on normal so that way I can make the walkthrough and the analysis pretty quick. But this is what I get for trying to do one of these when I get back from work. I'm tired and yawning. Anywho, Jersey Boy, if you're watching this, I'm going to go ahead and play through the Battle of Mount Osore for you, so that way you'll have a pretty good idea as to how to go through it next time you do a playthrough with Masamune, because each stage in the game has certain bonuses that you can pick up for completing various objectives. But I'll also show you a few tips as well. And, I mean, yeah, this vid isn't just for Jersey Boy, but some of these tips are going to be specifically for him and pretty much anyone else that's playing through this game and decides to play through this stage. However, as is customary with the other walkthroughs, we're going to go ahead and give you a quick rundown of this character's abilities before we get down to it, as well as my personal recommendation for which super art you should come equipped with. Let's go ahead and look at the arts listing. Now, Kojurou's special ability when you hold down the normal attack button is that he actually does a follow-up attack with his second sword, which he usually leaves sheathed at the start of the battle. You'll notice that each of his special arts and his first super art actually have two listings for their name. That's because they actually perform secondary attacks should you hold down that button. Because just as with the normal attack, if you hold down the button for a secondary attack, he'll use his other sword to pull it off. Now, his triangle attack is a, basic powerful slash, good for crowd clearing just in case you're getting surrounded and swarmed. But if you hold down the button for his secondary attack, he'll actually plant the sword, and a small field of electricity will come up underneath him, and then he'll do another slash with that second sword. Now, for those of you that have played Kojiro in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, you'll recognize his forward and triangle move. This is his uppercut special. But instead of actually holding it so that you could follow him into the air like Masamune, he'll actually do both swipes on the attack. And if you hold the triangle button, he'll draw that other sword for a third slash. Again, really good for, lifting your opponents off the ground or knocking them back down and basically, putting them under a hard knockdown status so that you can follow up for more combos. His R1 special is probably his best for crowd clearing. Sorry, not for crowd clearing, but for covering distance, as well as shield breaking. And again, just like with his other specials, if you hold down R1, he'll actually do a second thrust to cover more distance and do more damage with his second sword. Now, his L1 in triangle may be familiar to some of you from Heroes, because in Heroes, what he did was he'd actually get on his knees and meditate, and if he was struck during that posture, then he'd respond by circling around behind the opponent and basically trying to cut them in two. But with this one, he automatically goes for the attack, so you don't need to worry about leaving yourself prone. But if you hold down the triangle button after the L1 in triangle, then he'll pull out his second sword and actually go for a stab. Now as for the 3 super arts that he has, his first one is basically a projectile, much like Masamune's. You know, insane amounts of damage and good range on it. And if you hold down R2, he'll actually come through with a second slash for a wide horizontal energy arc. His second super art, which is the quite popular one, the ever infamous Moonless Slaughter. This is basically where he, you know, loses his mind and goes outright Yakuza style on a brother. And all of his normal attacks are changed up to where, you know, instead of the more refined, stylish slashes that he does, he's just hacking and headbutting and kicking. It's a wonder to witness, but it may not work for what I want to do, at least for this walkthrough. And aside from that, his projectile super art is the one that I would use as my go-to anyway. His third super art is again much like Masamune's Testament. If you time the slash just right when he actually brings that sword down to split the moon that he draws, then you'll one-hit KO any opponent on the screen. Enough said. So, that covers Kojurou's abilities when she got him leveled up. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes and actually get to this walkthrough. Oh boy. Welcome to the Battle of Moutasori, ladies and gents. Take a quick look at our main hero. Looking pretty stylish in that trench coat. Now let's get down to it. Well, once I come up on this first armored samurai, I'll give you a quick glimpse of just his regular attacks, just to show you what I'm talking about. Basic slashes. His 8 string's pretty good, and again, hold down the normal attack. Boom! Draws the second sword. And that right there was a quick demo of his counterattack, or his former counterattack anyway. Now, notice when you beat the armored samurai on Moutasori, their spirits come up and they actually try to float forward and try to attack you. You can actually knock these out of the air to pretty much mitigate the danger. Okay. So we're going to want to bust these incense pots first, so that way the enemies won't respawn when I finally decide to go ahead and put the whooping on them. Alright, now that that's taken care of, check this out. Boom. Now, another little trick to Kojurou's counterattack is that if you actually hit the normal attack button right as that final move connects, then you'll be able to circle back around front to continue your assault. Boom, like so. So, in short, that right there is basically Kojurou's main claim to fame. While with Masamune, it's seamless transitions from one special art to the next, or even into super arts. With Kojiro, it's all about follow-ups. It's all about making sure you know what you're going to do, well, not necessarily thinking another step ahead, so much as actually realizing that you have an extension, you have a follow-up available. One thing I also want to mention is that when you're fighting as Kojiro, if you cancel from his normal attack string into any of his specials, then usually... Ahem. Okay, maybe except for that one, but usually... He'll go for the secondary attack instead of his primary. So let me go ahead and take out the last of those pots. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, boom! Boom, boom, boom. And basically, if you time the button presses just right on his counterattack, then you'll basically be literally running circles around the opposition. Now, to show off his super art, because I know you've been waiting to see it. Bang! Dragon's Eye. Or, for the follow-up... Aw, dang it. Stupid Sasuke stealing my kills. There's the follow-up. Boom. Boom. Now, one of the bonuses in this stage is finding a hidden pathway to a hidden cache of treasure. If you turn left after the first split when you start the stage, then you'll actually come across a pathway off to your right where you can hop up, run around the little path, and use the personnel launcher, aka the giant freaking crossbow, to make your way to a hidden pathway. And okay. While I'm here, I'll also show you a quick little combo that I like to do with Kojiro. It's pretty simple. R1, then R2. Now, I guess you could say technically with Kojiro, he can also transition from one special art to the next, much like Masamune. But when you cancel from one to the next, it's always going to be his secondary attack, which isn't always a bad thing, especially taking into account his super art where you get that secondary energy arc. Let me go ahead and use this other launcher. So, a few heavy armor samurai later, you'll find extra money and a treasure box. And you jump right back down to the path you were taking before. Hey! Whose base you think you're trying to take over, homeboy? You know who I am? Name's Kojuro. You do well to remember it, son. Alright, now that that moment of badass is over... Oh, who am I kidding? This whole game is just a series of moments of badass. For most characters, anyway. Okay, more pots to take down. Also, one really good thing with Kojiro is that for most of his physical attacks, you can actually dash cancel. And if you dash cancel and follow it up with his normal attack while he's dashing, you'll do a shoulder ram / stab, which can actually put your opponents off their feet, or off their balance at least. Really good for sustaining combos and ensuring that you don't take much in the way of damage. And not taking damage is always good, right? Boom, boom. Follow-ups. Learn them, love them. Learn them, live them, love them. That's what I can say. There we go. And once again, you saw that dash cancel right there. But one thing I haven't been able to do so far, at least in this stage, but one thing to actually keep an eye out for, if you do enough damage to the heavy armor samurai to break all of their armor, then the little ghostly spirits that usually show up afterward won't show up at all. So that's one way to actually help minimize the difficulty of, dealing with some of the armored opponents here. Alright. Hooray for long range. Kojiro swoops back to the backcourt from downtown! Please, don't mind me. I'm just slightly nuts. But only slightly. Boom. And again, you see how I knocked all of the armor off of that one particular samurai, and nope, nothing coming back up. Nada, zip, zilch. Okay. Ow! Ow! Bad! See that little stylish follow-up right there? Bam, bam. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Bad ghostly spirit. Bad. No. You're not hitting anybody. Alright. Now let's bring it around to finish off this base right here. Ahem. To finish off this base right here. Thank you. Alright. Now that the job's done on that end, let's make our way to the boss. Now, the final boss of this battle, Harumasa Nanbu. This guy is, kinda obsessed with the dead. But, of course, it's gonna be a battle of Necromancer Ninja versus Trenchcoat Yakuza Samurai. Who's gonna come out on top? Well, the answer should be obvious, of course. But let me go ahead and make way into the battle. Screw the cutscene. Ahem, screw the cutscene. Thank you. Now, the big thing about this battle and the secondary stage bonus on this is that you have to take down Harumasa before he can use the souls of the armored samurai to resurrect them even once. So that is where hero mode comes in. Let's get to some fancy slashing. Yeah, that's right. Whoop him, whoop him. And that, as they say in the business, is what puts butts in the seats. Alright, that should just about do it for our walkthrough / spotlight on Kojuro. Thanks a lot for sticking around with me. Thanks for watching. Shoutouts to all my subs. Shoutouts to all my friends, including my newest Twitter followers. You can find me not only on Twitter, but, well, of course, you can also find me here on YouTube at youtube.com/BlazingAceNelson, where you'll find not only more walkthroughs, but also the Salty Runback review coming in the next couple of months. Until then, this is Blazing Ace Nelson signing off. Stay gaming, y'all. Peace.